Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about shoes. I am doing a big designer shoe review. I always get asked a lot of questions about different pairs I own, so I thought I would combine a lot of mini reviews into one bigger one, discussing all the most popular pairs I have, and by popular I'm just judging that based on what I get asked about most. So I have Valentino Rocksteds here in a variety of heel heights. I have Gianvito Rossi pumps that are all laid out on my table here, and Louboutins in a couple of styles as well. So if you are in the market for a new pair of heels, hopefully you will find this useful, and let's get going. So I'm going to start off with Valentino Rocksteds first, just because I do still think these are the most popular. I get asked most about these, and I have three pairs here. I'm not really going to talk about flats in any other part of this video, but I thought I would include my Valentino Rocksteds flats just because, again, I get asked a lot of questions about them. And then the other two pairs are my kitten heels, and then also my highest heels as well. In general, I absolutely love the Rocksteds line, as you can probably gather. I think they're really beautiful shoes. Yes, they are a splurge, and when I first got my first pair, that was the most I'd ever spent on a pair of shoes. It was a big jump for me because previously that kind of money had been reserved for bags and other really big purchases, so it was a big thing for me to spend so much on a pair of shoes. But obviously I like them enough to get other pairs. I think they're such a beautiful statement, but without being too in your face, and they're a really good way of dressing up an outfit, I think. So I only have good things to say about the general Rocksteds line. However, I'm going to go through each individual shoe and share my thoughts. So first up are my Valentino Rocksteds flats, and if you watch my channel regularly, you will know that I have a very love-hate relationship with these shoes. I love the way they look. I think they're so cool looking. I love the pop of colour. I just love everything about them, but they are not very comfortable. They have very stiff leather, which is a big part in ensuring that your feet are not having a very good time when wearing them. I can still wear these, but I really limit them to times when I know I'm not going to be on my feet a lot. So when I'm going to the cinema or out to dinner and I know I'm going to spend most of my time sitting down, then these are absolutely fine, but I would never pick them for a day out shopping or anything like that. I have other flats which are much more comfortable, and these just would not cut it for me. So even though I love the look of them and I do still reach for them, I am very careful about where I wear them, because I know otherwise my feet are going to be in a lot of pain. Specifically, they pinch around the little toe here and occasionally around the heel as well. And again, I don't know if you can even hear that, but it's very stiff leather. You know, there's no softness there at all, so they really don't mold to your foot. So it's more kind of them making your foot mold to the shoe. So it's not always super fun to wear them. In terms of wear and tear, they're not that bad. I've heard really bad things about these smooth leather, but you know, they've done pretty well. Obviously, I haven't worn them for hours and hours because I limit how much I wear them, but you will begin to see little bits of wear and tear right around the tip, and then obviously the soles as well, but everyone has wear on the soles. So generally speaking, I don't think they're that bad. You will see a few creases probably around the toe area, but again, so far so good. It's mainly the comfort factor which makes these a little bit more uncomfortable to wear. So if I had to rank them in terms of comfort, I would say probably maybe like a 5.5, something like that. And in terms of an overall ranking of the shoe, I maybe bump it up to a 6 just because I think they look really nice, but essentially the comfort level does bring them down. Next up are my beloved kitten heels. I absolutely adore these. I wear them all the time. I have spoken about them before, but they are such a great pair of shoes. I would say these are probably my favourite pair of shoes in my entire collection. I get a lot of use out of them. I love the way that they elevate any outfit. I love how comfortable they are as well. I've had them for a little while now and I have used them a ton, and the wear and tear has been really great. So I got these in the smooth leather, and there is a little bit of wear on the tip, but not too bad. And there's also a scuff mark on the heel. That's really my fault though, and I do need to replace the heel tip, but apart from that, there is nothing else to report. There aren't any scratches on the main bit, and there is no colour transfer either because I did take the extra precaution of spraying them with protectant. So I wear these mostly with jeans, and that was a big concern with me, whether the jean colour would bleed onto the leather, but because I sprayed them, they've been absolutely fine. There is no colour transfer at all, and they're looking as good as new. So Wear and tear has been fantastic on these. Comfort level is also really great. I think I can last an entire day in these. I go shopping in these. They're just great, and these are really my go-to heels when I want a little bit of a height boost but I don't want to go for like a 4-inch heel, or if I know I'm going to be walking a lot, these are what I reach for. So a really solid pair of heels, especially when I compare them to my flats. These are so much more comfortable. It's not even a comparison. So in terms of comfort level, I would say these are probably a 9.5. You know, not a pair of Ugg boots, but they're still very comfortable. So I adore these. In terms of general satisfaction level, it's probably a 10 to be honest, because I love these so much. They go with anything, I feel, and even if you're just wearing a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, you pop these on and it instantly elevates the look. So I love them for that. So I would actually say these are a solid 10 out of 10 for me. And now for my Valentino rock studs in the highest heel. So these are the highest heel version that they do. I'm not sure what exactly they measure in at, but I will include the information down below. I will also include sizing information as well. I will say a little disclaimer here, take the sizing information with a pinch of salt. My feet have been doing all kinds of crazy things and they've actually shrunk a lot. So I used to be a UK 5.5 and I'm now a UK 4. I don't know what's happened, it's very strange. I googled it and everything, like no one seems to have an answer, but my feet have shrunk, so these don't fit me quite as well anymore, but I will try and remember how they fit when I first bought them, because obviously when I first bought them they did fit me. So I will try and include information about whether they are true to size in the description bar as well. But in terms of these ones, these are the nude coloured heels, so this is in the colour Poudre, and these are in the patent leather as well. So I got these in the patent leather because I heard so many scare stories about the matte leather. I actually wanted the matte leather, but I ultimately decided to go for these, and I'm very happy with them. I think they're beautiful. Now that I own both, I would say that the matte leather wear and tear isn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be, but the patent leather versions are definitely better for that. So there is no wear around the tip, which you do see on the other versions, and generally speaking there's no creasing or anything like that. So these are very worry and carefree. All you have to do is wipe them down and you're good to go. So if you do want a truly carefree option, then definitely consider the patent leather because it is a very good choice. No scuffing or anything, but I will say that I haven't used these quite as much as I have my kitten heels. In terms of comfort level, I would say that they're comfortable, but they're not, you know, like slippers. They're not like the kitten heels. I wouldn't be able to wear these all day long. These are very much still event shoes or date night shoes when I'm not going to walk much, things like that. So I would say if I had to rank these for comfort, I'd maybe go for a 7. Again, not one I can wear all day. Other people have said they are super comfortable, so maybe it's just my foot, but for me, these are more of a 7, nowhere near as comfortable as the kitten heels, but definitely not the worst heels I own, especially for this heel height. You know, it's a high heel, they're never going to feel like slippers or Ugg boots or anything like that. So relatively speaking, the strap does keep your foot nice and secure, which does add to the comfort level, I think, and generally I do really like this shoe. So in terms of an overall rating, I'd probably rate this an 8 and then a 7 for comfort. Now for my Gianvito Rossi plexi pumps, and these are one of my absolute favourites. In terms of really high heel shoes, I think these are probably my favourite ones to wear because they are so comfortable. I know lots of people think that they're really uncomfortable because of the plastic, but that could not be further from the truth. It's because of the plastic these are so comfortable. It actually molds to your foot, especially when they warm up a bit, so they are incredibly comfortable to wear. I wore these to my brother's wedding because I knew I'd be on my feet all day. I lasted all night in them, and that was dancing as well. So they really are a great choice, especially considering how high the heel is. I actually think these are higher than my rock studs. Yeah, they are a little bit as well. You can get them in a lower heel height as well. I went for the highest because I like to be really tall, but they are very comfortable for such a crazy heel. I adore these. I can't say anything bad about them. I had them in 2 colours, so I had them in a darker colour and also the white. The white has gotten a ton of use, and I think I actually probably need to replace these because unfortunately not only are they a bit dirty now, but they're also a bit too big for me, as are a lot of my shoes because my feet have shrunk. So I've done a little patch measure and just put a heel guard here, which does help make them a little bit smaller and fit a bit better, but it's not ideal because obviously you have the plastic right there. So I've been putting off buying another pair, but I think I will probably have to do it. But I love these. They are very carefree as well. Obviously I got mine in the white, so you know the wear and tear isn't super amazing. You can see some scuffing and there are some marks here and there, but they do them in a lot of different colours and materials as well. So you can get them in suede, patent, metallics, a whole bunch of different types. So it really just does depend on what you go for. In terms of the plastic, it's very durable as well because you can literally wipe it clean and it'll look good as new. So wear and tear is very good. I find them extremely easy to wear as well. They seem to go with everything, which is why I've used them so much, and I just love these. So comfort level, very high. I say probably a 9 for comfort. Obviously they're not like Ugg boots, it's a very high heel, but they're very comfortable shoes indeed. And in terms of an overall rating, I say probably like a 9.5. Next up are my Gianvito Rossi pumps, and I'm not sure if these have a specific style name, but these are just the very classic, very simple pumps. A lot of brands do this shoe. Jimmy Choo do a version, Manolo Blahnik do a version. It's just a very standard type of shoe, I think, but these have quite a high heel height. It's the same as the Plexi pump, I believe, and these are in the pink suede. So I've had these for a little while. I believe I wore these to my engagement party and they were absolutely fine. I was drawn to them because I had such a good experience with their other shoes. I would say that they probably aren't quite as comfortable as the Plexi pumps, but they are almost there, and especially considering other brands at this heel height, they are much more comfortable than the norm in my opinion. In terms of wear and tear, there's really nothing too bad to say about these. Obviously I got them in quite a pale suede fabric and colour, so you know they're not going to be the most durable. It's not going to be like a patent leather, but the wear and tear really hasn't been too bad. I did make sure to spray them, so that obviously factors in, but there is a little bit of wear on the tip and I do have a bit of scuffing on the heel, but apart from that there is nothing else to report. So I've been really impressed with these. In terms of comfort level, I would say probably maybe an 8 out of 10. Again, you know, it's a very high heel height and they aren't quite as comfortable as the Plexi pumps, but they are almost there. So probably an 8 out of 10. And as a general rating for the overall shoe, again, I'd probably stick with an 8 out of 10. You know, it's a very solid pump. There are more comfortable options out there, but if you are looking for this kind of style, I think this is a beautiful choice. And segueing right into my next shoe is my Manolo Blahnik BB pump, and this is very similar to my Gianvito Rossi. They're the exact same style of shoe, but there is a few differences. So everything on the Manolo Blahnik version is just a little bit more extreme. So the toe cleavage is a little bit more, so it's cut a little bit lower. And then if you look at the heel on the Manolo Blahnik version is a lot thinner than the Gianvito Rossi. So very similar in general, I would say, but the Manolo Blahnik is just a little bit more extreme, and that may account for why it is just that little bit more uncomfortable. I have worn these only a few times, but each time my feet have not been very happy, and I was really disappointed because one, I love Manolo Blahnik, and two, I'd heard really good things about the BB pump. I heard lots of ladies say that this is actually their go-to day pump, and for me I was like, I couldn't fathom how you would last a whole day at work in these shoes, because I wore them to an event and my feet were really hurting after the first couple of hours. So I have no idea if you can last all day in them. Kudos to you, because I definitely can't. The wear and tear, I don't have too much to add because honestly I haven't worn them enough because they aren't very comfortable, but you do see the usual suspects of a little bit of wear on the tip and then on the heel as well. Again, you can work around that with a suede protector, but these are also available in a whole different variety of colours and materials and all that kind of stuff, so it will absolutely depend on what you go for. I went for the pink suede just because these were on sale and I like them, but suede obviously isn't the most durable. Even if you do spray it, things do happen. But wear and tear, okay so far. Can't comment a huge amount, but what I can comment on is the comfort level, and as I mentioned, not particularly comfortable heels. So even though they're very beautiful and I love how exaggerated the features are, I do think that means that they're a bit less stable on your foot. There's not as much holding your foot in. I do think that means that they are more uncomfortable. So in terms of comfort, I would say maybe 5.5 or 6. They don't rank very highly at all. And then in terms of my overall rating, I'd say probably a little bit higher, maybe like a 6.5, because I think they look really cool. I love the way they look on my feet, but definitely not one if you want to spend all night dancing, you don't want to worry about your feet. These aren't the ones to go for. And now for my very last two pairs of shoes, so these are both Christian Louboutins. One is the Riza pumps and then the other ones are the Pigalle Folies. I actually bought the Pigalle Folies because I had heard that they were more comfortable than the regular Pigalles. I can't comment on that because I don't have both of them, but I will say that these ones aren't very comfortable, so if that's true then the Pigalles must be very uncomfortable indeed. These ones do have a very high heel and it's a very sharp heel as well, so it's very thin, there isn't a lot of stability there, and they also have a very low toe vamp as well, so you do see a lot of toe cleavage, which just means that overall there isn't a whole lot holding your foot in. Coupled with that is the fact that the leather is very stiff as well, which means that overall this isn't a particularly comfortable shoe. It's a very high arch, and I do get the impression that unless your foot is the exact kind of shape and mold of the shoe, then you aren't going to immediately find these very comfortable. You can break them in and it does help. I've used tricks like, you know, using a hairdryer with woolly socks and things like that, and they do help to make them a little bit more comfortable, but these are never going to be like slippers, and even for kind of a general high heel they are more uncomfortable than most. So wear and tear is very good, you know, it's patent leather, it's very carefree, but at the same time they don't get worn a whole ton. You know, these are very much going to dinner shoes for me. I was never going to wear these out dancing, so they don't see as much wear as the other ones, but at the same time they look pretty much new. You know, no wear at all on sides, nothing on the heels. Obviously the red soles get dirty, but that's the same as all soles. So wear and tear is very good. It's really the comfort level where these fall down. So in terms of comfort, I would probably rank them maybe a 3.5, maybe a 4 if you really work and stretch them out. That's better than when I first got them, because when I first got them I think they ranked probably like a 1. So they are better than they were, but at the same time these are not particularly comfortable heels. So my overall ranking is probably maybe a 5.5, maybe a 6. They're only that high because I do think they look absolutely amazing on. They're such a beautiful shoe. They make your legs look amazing, but they're really brought down by the fact that these aren't very comfortable. So overall rating, let's go with a 5.5, and the comfort probably like a 3.5. And now down to my last shoe, which is my Christian Louboutin Riza pump. So these have a cutout detail here and then they're just plain on the other side. These are a firm favourite with me. I absolutely love them, and the difference between these and the Pigalle Folies in terms of comfort is absolutely massive. These I actually can wear out all night long. I've worn them to parties and events and they've done absolutely fine. Again, they're 4-inch heels, so your feet will hurt towards the end of the night. They're not quite as comfortable as my Gianvito Rossi Plexi pumps, but I would say they're probably on par with my Valentino rock studs, if not a little bit more comfortable. So I absolutely adore these. I don't know how they're made by the same shoemaker, because these two are not the same in terms of comfort at all. I suspect the cutout does enable your foot to breathe a little bit, but either way I love the look of the cutout, and I also love the fact that these are just so much more comfortable. The wear and tear is really good as well. Got them in the patent leather and there are no scuff marks at all. There's a little bit of creasing around the toe area, but that's about it. They've done really well. I have used these a lot and I just love them to bits. The nude colour is great as well, very flattering. The whole shoe just elongates your leg. I think they look good with everything, and for that they are just a go-to for me. So in terms of comfort, I would say these are probably an 8 or an 8.5, and in terms of overall shoe I would say these are probably a 9.5, just because I love them so much. So if you are thinking about getting a pair of Christian Louboutins, I would absolutely recommend the Riza pumps. They are one of my absolute favourites. And that is it for this video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. As I mentioned, I will include all the details I can down below if you are missing anything, but if you do have any other questions then let me know in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this and find it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.